Greetings, everybody. This is Joanna. Thought I'd do a little out and about session. I'm out and about wanting to get my energy out there, and I'm at a beautiful little corner Starbucks by the ocean. I can see the ocean from the window here. It's such a gorgeous view. I wanted to say hi, early morning Ascension crowd. This is my Starbucks session, showing you these little glyphs that I've been creating with gel pens and metallic pens, and I started to offer them as weekly glyphs and weekly messages for codes. Each of us are transmitters of whatever realms and frequencies that we have come from, planets, directives, missions, and we're each meant to share those experiences in the processing of our own lives, the processing of our own alchemy, and they make for the culmination of codes and energies and frequencies within the collective. So that's why the healing process is part and part the expressive process of who you are. The expression is so very pivotal to healing because it allows the energy to move. Each of us come with a unique set of light language, codes, remembrances, and activations from the many star systems, universes that we come from. And the daily and the weekly sharing help in the collective embodiment, the collective creating, the collective release, and the collective healing. And so as a teacher and a healer, it's 50% of what we talk about is the expression, and the vocational alignments help refine the expression. They help refine who you are becoming and who you are magnetizing yourself as a vibrational vessel. They're each transmitters in and of itself. The physical body is a matter body of many different components, systems of communication. The systems within itself communicating of itself, the brain to the nerves, and so on, and the nerves to the brains and the various functions within our bodies. We are multidimensional vibrational interpreters, sending out information, receiving information. And we are spirited, multidimensional beings in and of that. So it's again like the macro experience. And in knowing that, there's many various expansions that we all have with symbols, symbolisms, sounds, why our technology will be formed more greatly around that. The multidimensional natural experience of who we are and who we are becoming, the symbologies of a new higher vibration. So it's profound, and why nature will be more a greater part in our co-creative experience and communications. I've given many classes in the past on Gaia healing, interpretation, and teaching, vocational experiences of those that have come previous lifetimes as shamans, as teachers, as healers, as herbalists. Those that are in the naturopathic modalities, how to communicate with the natural senses and offerings of the planet. And those will be highly, highly sought after in the next 5 years for the culmination of the merging of different modalities of healing and the naturopathic experiences of learning new communication systems of our biosphere, which are becoming higher and higher intelligence. From the oceans to the air, the oceans being ignited and activated first. And there are various systems within the dimensional frequencies that assist in that overall new template system. And so it's beyond what one video can offer, but I will do a separate video on the biosphere systems, the multidimensional intelligence that's held within the naturopathic systems of plants, botany, the cells of the sands and the granules. All of those hold various aspects of information as the rocks and the crystals, every crystal holding a different modality, and how they're used and when they're used and what way they're used, the cycles that they're used with every patient will be different and why, and client will be different and why. It's so important to, from here on out, those that so desire that are in a healing practitioner experience, really tune in and ask what part of the transaction you're meant to play in, because every client before you, you'll play a different part because you want to. You don't want to maintain the same modality of healing and expression and interpreting, because you're a multidimensional being and you were meant to evolve through that process of being a healer, of being a practitioner. And so always ask yourself what part will you be playing? It may be perhaps to be simply to hold space. It may be to offer information. It may be to offer guidance. It may be to simply sit and offer the energy. So there's going to be many different instances through which every dynamic of offer, whether it be a teacher or a practitioner or a healer, what space will you be holding in that experience, in that co-creation? Oftentimes those that are before us are also offering us new portals of new activations. And so always ask your teams and your guides before anybody that presents themselves to you. And also discerning to those that are regular practitioners, those that are readers, those that are out in the public on a consistent basis. Know and discern when those that are coming to you out of using you as a crutch, a vibrational crutch or a vibrational portal to things that they're not challenging themselves to go within and do healing. So you'll know those that continually go to you for readings that ask the same questions, or they're using your services or your skills to ask about other people. So those are when they're not heeding the call of healing themselves. They're simply getting you to relay information about others, which is not a healing experience. So those will be always offered new experiences in new ways that every practitioner, every reader, every intuitive will be asked to level up into new experiences of healing, new experiences of expansiveness of who you are, creating with how you're gaining your information, how you're interpreting your information, and then aligning with the highest and best so that you're always maintaining that highest benevolence, because you, every being on this planet, will be expanding in different ways. So you want to be tested in different ways so that you're in alignment with the highest and the best of how Spirit has planned for you. The highest experience that Spirit has planned for you cannot be summed up in one version of modality. You're going to want to try different things. You're going to want to expand to different things, and Spirit's always guiding you into what part you play within it. Do a lot of throat clearing because I'm out in public. And that's just how important it is to get yourself out there, because there's those deep soul experiences and those deep soul clearings and woundings that will be cleared. Because your body and your soul remembers of you being in public. Your body and your soul remembers of those wounds that happen in public. So allow yourself to be okay in different spaces, to challenge yourself in different spaces, to express yourself in different spaces. And Spirit will always make sure the way is paid for you to get out there. Many of us are being urged and promised to get out there because our light affects the whole. Our light affects the all. And so being a goddess and a queen from another universe that was called in by the mother God. Thank you, Mother God. Thank you, Mother God. Clearing my throat on that divine feminine being healed. It's really important that that we get out there into the creative public. Those of us that are moving about our fields every day. Our fields are about 8 feet wide. So those that come in contact with us when we're in public and are offering our highest and our best, we're just so excited to be with humanity. Those lights and those codes and those activations, those symbols of communication, which will be really important in the next 6 months. What symbols of communication are you being offered? What symbols of communication of nature and Gaia and the public and humanity that are asking of you to come forward and present your wisdoms, to present your offerings? Each and every one of us are part of that collective offering to help humanity heal in different ways. So we're meant to be moving and shifting and transitioning and navigating these energies in different ways so that we can offer our highest and our best for the rebalancing of everything. So I did a quick channel this morning while I was sitting in Starbucks. I love to have my sessions in Starbucks. This is the first time I'm recording in Starbucks. But I do a lot of my channeled messages in Starbucks just because I love the energy. I love to be around eclectic energies, and I pull on the energies of what the collective wants to hear and needs to hear. And so this one, it just came to me as an epiphany yesterday about the alchemy of justice. It was just one of those eclectic kind of moments where all of the energies and all of the illustrations that I've had from the past kind of making sense, and again adding onto it and adding onto the various energies that I've offered before, all of my illustrations, all of our healing tools, all of our ascension tools. When you're wanting and understanding the 5th dimensional version of what is justice for you, if you've been treated unfairly or unjust, if you've remained in a balance of imbalance for so very long, especially divine feminine or divine masculines that are healing their divine feminine energies, you'll want to understand justice in a new way and what that really means and how to maintain that and sustain it for yourself, how to attain justice for yourself. You don't need forgiveness from anybody else besides you, because God plays that other role. Spirit plays another role. Your teams, your guides. You can call on higher self with those that you want to have those soulful communications with in your weekly challenges. That you're purging those energies. You're making right on those energies. You're making right on those stories and those timelines. So you can have those communal conversations, as long as it's in the purity of your heart Spirit, Lord Michael, and all of the beings and all the angels will ensure that those that you're meant to have those connections with, that are meant to be of forgiveness and meant to be of rebalancing, will be done with the highest angels of healing. Because that's a soul experience that you're having to clear karma of your Akash. And that is done of the highest, because all of those are recorded. Those are recorded soul sessions, those are recorded soul experiences through which you can have those soulful communions as God, Mother, Father, God, and Spirit, Lord Michael, as your gatekeepers. And those are recorded into your own Akash, so you can go through that healing process. Even if someone has passed, you can have that experience through their soul and their higher self, your higher self. And those are just as healing as if the person was here. And it's funny because sometimes when people know they're going through a big life transition, they want to make right on everything from the past so they can move forward without, with a clear conscience kind of thing. But it can be done with spirit to spirit, higher self to higher self. So you don't necessarily have to wait for those times of grand, dramatic, traumatic change to do the forgiveness. It can be done in any moment. Just call on a higher self and have your higher self act as that gatekeeper with Lord Michael, so that the highest benevolence and the respect and non-interference is taking place. And again, it's you challenging yourself to those higher vibrational laws, which will be really important for every person that's working in energy. And that's what your teams in spirit will allow you to honor, because now that we're fifth dimensional, we're aligning with collective galactic cosmic laws. And so just know that. So the laws of balance are directly related to justice. Everything within our universe is about the law of balance, which I think is the number 2 law. And why we have our own inner homeostasis system. We have our own systems that communicate with one another, trying to create that balance. Your body in and of itself is a vessel of multidimensional communications. Your body is connected to the intuitiveness of who you are. Your body knows in and of itself what is a good situation, what is not a good situation. Any energies before you, your body can sense and tell you. There are those of us that have been with people or people before us that have made us literally sick, because of the energies that they're carrying, and because of the entities and the attachments that they're carrying. So pay attention to what your body is showing you and telling you, and allowing you to navigate within. So just be aware that your body is the highest vibrational intuitive vessel, that you're now training into new experiences, you're entraining new experiences. So anything that is of the matter experience is also a spirit experience, and it's your responsibility to attune and refine and attune and realign your multidimensional bodies and systems to a higher level of attunement, higher level of communication with spirit and spirit at all times. And so that's where you're asking yourself, what is my purpose in this transaction? There'll be often times where spirit will say, just listen, just receive, because you've given out so much. Spirit will want you to receive. Even if you think that it's a healing session that you're supposed to give another, spirit will do that dictation, because spirit is the reason why that person is brought before you and you before them. There's always a higher, grander, deeper, wider reason. There are many times that I've been shown where people cross your path for karmic reasons, or they have to repay you and you have to repay them in a certain way, or you're there to reactivate a code within them, within their field, or the spirit teams will allow that to be a portal through which they can do a healing, a massaging, a releasing, either on behalf of either or. So there's far more going on than you understand, and why empaths and intuitives and conduits allow that story to be interpreted. We allow those experiences to be interpreted. We're not only Akashic healers, we're not only Akashic readers, but we allow the energies of whatever and however it is in that given moment to be maintained in a new way, so that all are served to the highest and greatest good. That's our promise. That was our devotion and promise with spirit. If I'm given these gifts, I will abide by my end of the bargain, and I will abide by the highest laws. And your spirit teams will give you 1 or 2 or 3 chances, because they're constantly guiding you. And there's no reason why you can't always follow those rules for the greater good, because you're only going to be gifted in return. Those that have those ego wounds that are not healing, they continually break the vibrational laws, they continually break spiritual laws, they continually break human laws, they continually break the basic human laws of respect. Those are the ones that get their gifts taken away in blocks and karma. So we're given that because we're just moving into 5D, and everybody's been given the chances. And that's why Spirit gave me a couple of months ago that 3-month window, because things are changing very fast now. And so as a conduit and as a messenger for Spirit, the messages that I offer from Spirit, from God, they show of the highest ascension plan for humanity that's unfolding. And so I'm preparing people for the new philosophies, new psychiatry, new psychology, new ways we're going to be educating. I'm offering these new portals of potentiation, because we're now aligning with a more direct alignment with light, and how we can maintain a faster alignment with light, a faster alliance with our bodies, and our higher healing, our higher health, and creating that eternal unity. Tips about beauty, what is that really about? So it's really an eclectic way that we get to navigate and be more in our highest and our fullest sense And anybody that's going to offer themselves online as a leader, a teacher, a healer, you're going to have to allow that absolute priority, if you so choose, if you want to be the best that you can be in every way and see yourself in the highest versions of source creator, knowing that your every day, your every transaction is a way that you can challenge yourself to be deeper, higher, wider, more full of who you are as spirit. And in alignment of that, so that you're only offering the highest and the best. And you're going to have those mistakes, you're going to have those back and forth, because that's just learning. You have to train to be higher vibration. Nobody's taught us how to understand our bodies, to be vibrationally interpretive, to be vibrationally known, to be vibrationally healing. And that is who we are. That's all we are. We are vibrational beings. We're emotive beings. That's how we move about our reality. That's how we create reality. That's how we manifest reality. And so, but we've never been taught these things. So it's been a huge experience of bringing justice to yourself, by bringing yourself those new belief systems, those new engagement systems, how you're interpreting information before you, how you're interpreting those before you, reading between the lines, if you will, because not all those before you present themselves as truth. Not all those before you are healed. So therefore, they're going to live within those wounds, in those wounds, of those wounds, and then they speak in those wounds. And so just know that you're the highest vibrational ability to navigate and be that justice for yourself. And so this is what they showed me as there's always inner systems beyond what we know as homeostasis. All of our systems that are physical and matter are a system unto itself, communicating to the systems of its systems. So it's the micro macro systems communicating to micro macro systems, from the creator to the universes, to the multiverses, to the galaxies, to the individual planets. Every planet has a unique soul blueprint. Every person has a unique soul blueprint. Your soul blueprint is connected with what spirit has showed you as your multidimensional potentiations of how you connect with people, how you connect with the earth, how you're going to allow those soulful soul gifts to come forward and start playing in new ways in this new vibrational planetary energy. Everybody's coming out from the woodwork. Everybody's coming out from beyond the darkness, if you will. We're playing in different ways. We're reading information in different ways. We're interpreting information in different ways, because when the soul gets activated at a DNA level, that DNA is connected to the multidimensional systems, the physical system, the emotional system, the intuitive system. All of those systems are vibrationally activated. They're then processing the information of that vibrational activation. They're having to process that light. They're having to integrate that light. They're having to integrate and reflect on that light and observe new things. If you so desire, it's always different levels of different awakeness, different awareness. Those that have been awakened for a while are doing the work of saying, wow, I saw that, I saw that. You're going to see, again, as we said before, you're going to see the correlation. So the correlation of when you have a DNA activation, how your world just shifts and changes, because you're now perceiving yourself and the world within it in different ways. So again, your perspective is everything. If you see your world as a majesty of the many heavens and everything is possible, that perspective is going to shift everything. Lower vibrational perspectives are held within wounds of less than and lack and no sense of self, because of the dogmatic controlling systems, brainwashing systems, and so on and so forth. How you feed yourself, how you nourish yourself will be what you are. You are what you feed. You are what you eat, and what you are what you nourish yourself. Now that we're multidimensional beings, we're going to have to nourish ourselves in different ways. So again, it's the micro, macro. What you put out is what you get back. The law of balance is no different. What you put out is what you get back. If you are in balance, you're going to receive imbalance. But how to attain that to yourself is, at first, if you have any experience or any situation where you know that it's been unjust, create the acknowledgement and the acceptance of what has gone on. Right back to the very beginning of any one situation. So if there's a great imbalance with one person, create the very beginning of that instance of how things were imbalanced. Where did you see yourself giving your power away? Where did you see yourself molding to another story or surrendering to another's narrative? Create those acknowledgements and the acceptances of when you did that. When you do that, you're reclaiming your sense of power. Just as if when somebody is wounded or healed, or healing traumas, deep traumas, they sometimes, after a certain point of time where they've done enough healing, where that wound no longer scars them so traumatically, that they go back to the original place of wounding, because there's energy there for them to reclaim. There's energy there to say, no, this doesn't bother me anymore, I can do this. Because they've healed themselves enough to know that they can't be broken anymore. And that's the alignment, the alliance with life that God showed me. It doesn't matter what those most that could have not have survived what I did. God has shown me in every way. It doesn't matter what comes at me, I will be remade. And my DNA is changing, and my body is changing, my mental systems are changing, and I know that. And so those are things that I've been shown, but that's my justice in and of itself. I've created that acceptance and acknowledgement. So therefore, what may or may not be offered by another doesn't matter anymore. So I've let that go. So parts of that really traumatic story, that one story from those one group of beings, I'm releasing it more and more and giving myself justice, because I'm rebalancing that infinity. In the middle of that is my acknowledgement, my acceptance, and my allowance. And that is the divine sacred heart. That's only done through the heart. I acknowledge that I was a lesson for them and they're a lesson for me. I've accepted the many depths and the many ways and the many wits and the many times that I was taken advantage of, the many times that I was abused, and how that has affected me in every way. So I've accepted and acknowledged those wounds in whatever way that have occurred. And then in the acknowledgement, in the acceptance, you then get to allow yourself to realign in something new. Again, it's always going to be about the realignment and refinement of who you are. That can only be done when you're acknowledging and you're accepting it. You're the one that brings yourself justice. Bring yourself justice on the emotional level, allowing yourself to feel what needs to be felt, whether it's anger, whether it's frustration, whether it's feeling the loss of whatever that was lost or taken, feeling those old sense of loss. For me, it was an old sense of self. The ways in which I connected with spirit were a lot different. Now I'm having to re-navigate and do it in different ways, feel in different ways, and sense in different ways, because the causal experience that the causal death that I had affected everything. It was a very traumatic death that I experienced, a multi-dimensional death that I experienced, and I had to rebuild myself, rebuild my sensing, rebuild my trust, my unconditional trust with spirit. I had to rebuild it right from scratch. And those are many things that I've only recently found out of the depths of damages that were done through the deep, dark group work that was done, and how harmful it was. Before anybody taught me how to protect my fields, before anybody taught me how to honor my own bodies and my own fields, and how to use certain protection levels and certain ancient wisdoms that I now know how to protect myself and call in my ancestors and the various beings that are now walking with me. So those injustices helped me learn a lot. So without those injustices, I wouldn't have been able to come forward and teach and have the tools and create new tools to teach others how their multidimensional bodies and systems within their systems are always communicating and interpreting information and wisdoms. So when you're aware of that, then you can even navigate around those situations, and those injustices will never occur. Like I've been saying for the last year now, crime and violence is not necessary. The corruption is not necessary. When you understand those universal laws and how the universe works with you and supports you, all of those things never have to occur. That's about being the higher vibration of being that you are. You don't have to sit and lack. You don't have to sit in poverty. You don't have to sit in lack of self and doing what has been done in a human collective, whether it's degrading your body, selling your body, trafficking drugs, and all of those things are not necessary. Because when you're in alignment of who you are, your multidimensional systems are flowing with source. You're nourishing with source. You're being remade with source. Your bodies, your health, your everything is being remade, literally and figuratively, with source. It's an infinite supply. There's never lack. Source is never in lack. The universe is always in balance because source is infinite. Whatever is not in balance, source will make sure that it comes into balance, which many people now are being shown. Put respect on my daughter's name. Put respect on my name. No more taking from me. No more treating me like I can be used and abused because people thought they were smarter than me and I was naive and I could be taken advantage of and stolen from. Have businesses made in my name that are not me and yet fooling the public and fooling everyone else. So a lot of those injustices are being rebalanced now, but that came from me rebalancing myself, as again, within as without. It's always inner first. So you bringing justice to yourself first, whether it's a childhood trauma, whether it's a community trauma, any of those things, you bring balance to yourself first, and spirit will match you. Spirit's always waiting for you to wake up. Spirit's always waiting for you to go outside and maybe sit at something, sit at a coffee shop, in which you never thought you would do, but there you are. Because you trust spirit. Spirit's always going to match you when you're ready to step out on your own. You're ready to share yourself with the world. You know that you have a lot to give and offer. Many of you that are my clients, you're already stepping out into community and offering yourself in different ways because you've done enough healing to know that God's got you. There's always going to be a path made. There'll always be a way in which source will provide. So know that spirit's absolutely with you, and your celestial friends and your celestial families, your ancestors, are so much support for you to take on that path of healing. And so there's always that greater system beyond the homeostasis that allows us to discern with greater accuracy and knowing that which is a higher truth. And it happens through the divine, knowing that you are mobile with the divine in every way. You're able to interpret with the divine in every way. And when you refine and attune those systems, your body, your multidimensional bodies, and your sensings as conduits and empaths and psychics and intuitives, we have many ways that we can sense and feel energy. It's now transcending what we always used to know because our bodies are becoming more highly qualified of light. That light attracts light, that light bends with light, that light sings with light and harmonizes with light. It's harmonics, it's bendable, it's malleable. Therefore, we're able to offer ourselves in the communications from different realms in different ways. So more often than not, when I'm sitting and I'm creating my channeled work in the morning, I'm speaking light language because it's easier for me to move the energy of what's being translated to me, downloaded to me, and it's in the field. I just have to write it in my physical words because I'm reading it. So there's a multidimensional process that goes on when I'm channeling. I use light language and I speak it of whatever's being downloaded, and then I write it. And writing is, again, and the speaking is in this physical way is much more laborious. It takes a lot of time and effort for me to speak in this way. And so writing it in English words, it takes a lot of effort for me to write it in English words. Light language is much more efficient. It goes into the field and I write it in physical way. So there's a lot going on as a conduit. I know that, but those that watch me work what I work and do what I do, I explain it because there's a lot going on that is not known. Everything is vibration. And I'm now interpreting things at a higher vibration level because my body, my systems have been cleared. There's a clearer channel, there's a clearer refinement system, and I'm understanding the higher vibrational wisdoms as I open up to more. And so the alchemy that will be part of that is the portal that you create. You create that portal and that alchemy of justice because you're doing it within you first. You're looking at that experience, that situation. And that's why some of those deeper traumas take a long time, that you're creating those justices, you're creating those alchemic experiences. You're creating that for the whole collective because you're understanding that there is the equal opposite. If you're feeling the injustice, there is always justice. So how can you start moving those energies? How can you start clearing that out? And those that have done the wrong, they'll try and come forward and they will try and make it right. And they'll try and have their apology and try and offer you what they can. And that's a part of their alchemy. They're trying to clear that density from their field. You can always state, this is how I want this to go. Because there's been so much damage, there's been so much trauma. These are my paradigms. These are the rules of engagement. To make it right, you must go through my lawyer. Because there's going to be no contact. I'm done with that. I'm kind of healed that already. So I'm moving on to something new. If you want to make that right, speak to my lawyer. Because you can set those rules of engagement. And they can work with their higher self and your higher self to clear those deeper emotional wounds through which they need to have that expression with you. But you don't necessarily need it for your end. Again, everybody's at a different state of consciousness for that end of justice. So just respect everybody's end of justice. And that's something that's totally new for me because we've seen justice as an outer experience. We've given our power to systems that are completely corrupt. Our judicial systems are corrupt. They're political. The judicial systems are political. Why are they not for the people? So those are the things that each and every one of us, through our own sense of inner justice, we get to create new justice systems. We're actually rewriting new justice systems because it's now in a higher vibrational consciousness. So the alchemy will be that which is the portal through which you are your own master. You're mastering your own sense of justice. You're being a part of the universal rebalancing, the law of balance. What do you need to bring yourself balance? Because many of us have for a long time have sat in dissension and the vibration of resentment. And of course, that just gets you more energies that'll attract more people that want to do that to you. So you have to really bring yourself that justice to move the energy. And especially when there's those that won't bring that to you, because they just want to sit in those energies and try to beat you on every way possible. And they'll look for new ways to beat you. They'll look for new ways to bring harm to you. They'll look for new ways to get you, because they're just so wounded. They're actually acting in the wounding of themselves, but they see you as a target. And so that's where we've offered again, but it takes that higher consciousness and the willingness to heal. It's crime and violence is not necessary. Those that act out in violence are acting from their own inner sense of separation, their own sense of lack of self, their own poverty of self. But you are that target because you are that one that's showing that unity. You are that one that said no to them when they really had to go and reflect on why that no was there. On why that no, there is no further contact. No, there is going to be a divorce. No, I do have my right. No, I do stand in my power. I'm not going to give my power to you. And then it's up to them to reflect on why that is occurring. Why would you want to take someone else's power? Why would you want control of another person? Why would you want them a part of your story, but they don't get to have their story? So all of those are about self-reflection, and you're only being that mirror to each and every person of whatever it is that they have to reflect on in that moment. And that's why everything without is going to be a reflection of what is not healed or what is healed, or what you're proud of, what you're not proud of, what you're manifesting, because everything is a communicative system. There's systems within systems within systems within systems, and you get to discern, you get to interpret, you get to say what is your truth, what is your experience. That's how you bring that justice to you. You're the one that brings that justice. You're the one that starts that balancing, rebalancing process. As you become more of that within, you then have that without a while, you'll start to see people want to make that right. They'll want to give you the monies that they had stolen. They'll want to give you the businesses that they had made under your ideas and your content. And they'll want to be part of that repayment process because they know that that's the only way that they'll bring justice to themselves and that rebalancing to themselves. And spirit will take off those blocks and those hurdles. Well, that's up to spirit. I'm just saying that's what happens on the alchemic level because they show me. I can only say there's things that I'm shown on why people are going through what they're going through right now, because that's their higher selves are in this communication. So when I do a collective channel, the higher selves of those in the collective offer their inspirations, their visions, their downloads. So it's not just me and spirit in this multidimensional experience, it's the higher selves, those listening now, future now moments. This is why we've always said, those of you listening now in future now moments, your higher selves are in this meeting because you need to hear certain things to make it click for you. Why am I experiencing blocks? Why am I experiencing loss? Why am I experiencing poverty? Why is that person not returning my calls? Why is that person not chasing me? All of those things have to be healed. That's ego. That's the inner wounding. And it's up to nobody to come chasing after anybody. You're a sovereign, independent person, start healing. And so those are all old egoic, really, really dense energies. And it feels icky. So again, listen to your body on anybody before you, anything that's being offered to you, any type of contract, you'll be able to sense your way through life as you're more refining who you are and creating more justice for yourself. And Spirit's infinite. That's where your source is. Everything that you ask for justice will be always provided because it's infinite. Source is always providing infinite justice, no matter how bad that trauma is, no matter how bad, and let Spirit do all the karma distribution. The only person distributing karma is Spirit. The karma boards are involved, infinite beings of the karma board of all Akasha, of all universes, of all timelines. There are beings and there are councils and there are groups that meet moment for moment on every thought, every word, every action, every deed, because Spirit knows the percentage of the purity of your heart when you try and make something right. Spirit knows to the very minute percentage, how much of that is ego and how much of that is pure heart. When you truly want to heal, that's when miracles occur. When you truly want to release karma, that is when miracles happen. But it has to be you in alignment with you. Do I love myself enough to let this karma go? Do I love myself enough to make this right for someone? Do I love myself enough to clear this karma so that my kids don't have to deal with it? Because make no mistake about it, you will be back. All of you will be back. So who are you? Where is your sense of justice on you and in you? Because you start. Justice begins with you. And let Spirit deal with all the jurisdiction of who gets what and the distribution of karma. It's up to nobody. Crime is not necessary. Harm is not necessary. Violence is not necessary. Taking and stealing from another is not necessary. You have infinite supply with source. Always, period. And that's a truth. That's a law. And so we are infinitely creating the dynamic shift of 3D to 5D as you become less conformed with the idealisms and you're shaking off the falseness and the old dogmatic programs and the social programs and the lineage programs of wounds and guilt and obligations. Again, it's role definitions, guilt and obligations, and why that's been really unjust for eons, thousands and thousands of years for divine feminine. We're now shaking off those eons of injustice assignments of what my role was supposed to be, assignments of who I was supposed to be and what I was supposed to be and how I was supposed to express myself. No, those tribal assignments come from many galactic, celestial, universal experiences. And I don't have to take that on, I don't have to keep doing it. I don't have to fall into those assignments anymore. I can say no. Because as I do, all of the galactic, celestial, and universal beings that I'm also connected with, they also have to release themselves from assignments that don't work. So that's where the micro macro of the infinite ascension are working. I say no to my roles and obligations that somebody wants to put me in. I'm not surrendering to another's narrative. I'm not surrendering to another story. I will speak for divine feminine. I will help create the new divine feminine creational story that divine feminine are absolutely in fair equity of being evolutionary beings of our new earth. You can't have an evolution without divine feminine. Nothing can be manifest without divine feminine energy. Divine feminine energy is the receipt, is the intuitiveness of what is right for you. Are you being guided for your highest manifestations? You won't be able to manifest if you're not balanced in your divine feminine energy. That's why the divine feminine masculine have to be balanced within every single person before we ever leave this planet to traverse any other planet. We have to be balanced. Everybody is responsible for that inner balance. What was I shown as a divine masculine? What was I shown as a divine feminine? How can I rebalance those wounds that I was shown in my family? Each person is responsible for that. So they're not passing that karma on to their children. So be accountable, be responsible. We can do this. We're given it. That's why you chose to be here. And so that justice is you making it within your emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual body. When there's been a lot of spiritual injustice, especially for me, because there was years and years of black magic and targeting, chant work and voodoo work and root work. I mean, you name it, it's been done.
there was a lot of damage that was done before I knew how to protect my body and how to call it in. And spirit was always watching. It felt like spirit had their back to me. Through the laws of non-interference and free will, there was a lot that I had to learn about standing in my power, reclaiming my light, and tuning in and trusting my intuition when somebody was before me and blatantly lying to my face. So trusting your systems, everything means something. When somebody's lying to you and they're giving you charades and schemes and games about their underground, corrupt, secret life, and you absolutely know something's going on because you don't feel right, your family's a mess and there's no balance in you, and you're working your butt off and receiving zero for it. There's stuff going on. There's stuff going on. So trust yourself, bring yourself your own justice, reclaim your power, reclaim your light, and speak truth. And if you have to move out and move on, do so quickly. Sever the ties from those that continually want to play in de-evolution and non-healing, because those are the lower vibration chakras they have not healed yet. So Ascension is about working from the lower chakras to the higher chakras. The more aware and aligned you are, the higher in the chakras that you are able to access. Your 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th chakras. So those lower chakras of trust and safety and the sexual healing that needs to be done on both divine masculine and divine feminine, all of those things have to take place as you're clearing away the densities in the chakras. And those chakras are also connected with the multidimensional fields, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, that those densities come within. Conduits and empaths are able to see and feel that. Intuitive healers are able to see and feel that. So then we can tap into the Akasha where those wounds occurred and we help remove those blocks. So that's what I do as a healer. That's what I do as a teacher. I help heal, and by reading the stories, by reading the Akasha, by reading the energies, and whatever deposited in my field from spirit. Of course, I get to help in those clearings and those releasing, the detangling, if you will, because they're wounds, they're experiences. Because we're experiential beings, we're spirit first. That's why we carry those wounds from different timelines, different realms, different planets, different bodies. You have to clear those experiences. They're causal experiences. They are at the cause of who you are as spirit, and they're traumas, and you can release them. You can heal them. Bring justice to yourself. Acknowledgement, acceptance, and balance. And you get to do that alchemically through yourself, by yourself, of yourself, because you're spirit, infinite supply and source. And so you get to rewrite those programs of the lineage and the systems, socioeconomic systems. Environmental systems are going to be stepping up now, because the environmental systems are going to be part and part, hand in hand, foot in foot with our own healing. It's going to be profound. The environmental systems are going to be profound for us. And so there's going to be many of you that will be stepping up to be support and to be the voice of those Gaia systems. And I've taught classes on that. And I also offer vocational alignment sessions. If you wanted to connect with me, my email is below, and donations are greatly appreciated. And that's why a lot of what we're seeing right now, as far as the Trump trial, a lot of that is also helping us see what powers we've given away to those that have claimed such righteousness and such power through authority and money and resources. That Trump trial is really important, because when you look back at the history of just this case, it's a big collective story for the US, for North America in and of itself, for what we thought to be important and the values that we thought was about money and superficiality. That's what he stands for. He stands for the superficiality of what we thought was important. And we gave money and we gave power, and we gave voting rights to. And look at the corruption that has occurred. It doesn't matter what was occurred, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. This showing us the collective story. And each and every one of you look in, what part did you play in that? What part did you think that was glorified, the money that he had and putting him in power? What glorifications did you give to? And now we're reclaiming that. We're reclaiming that by saying, no, you didn't have the right to have authority over humanity. As much as every experience that was shown, that separation was one of his key experiences. The less than and the greater than. That's what he stood for. And it came out in many infinite ways. And so what do we give that power to? How are we changing as a collective? How are we awakening as a collective? What are these social stories that are playing out, that are each and every one of us trying to rebalance our collective? What is important now? What's important now is that everybody be healed within themselves, so that there is no crime, there is no violence, and there is no outbreak of crime and corruption, which are billion-dollar businesses. Where could that billion-dollar business be put back into profound manifestation and abundance and healing systems? Do you see what I'm saying? There's blatant, obvious truth right before us, but are we seeing it? Are we waking up? Who are you? What do you exist within, and what exists within you? What have you been giving your power to? What have you been giving your light to? Whose stories and who narratives and what plans of sacrifice have you been given? Sacrifice is not necessary, not needed. It's an illusion. So anybody that tells you anything about that sacrifice, They're not in truth. They're not aligned with their higher self. Period. Period. We're higher vibrational now. We're higher intelligent. Crime, corruption, violence, not necessary. Everything is healable. And so the ways of social protesting will shift from protesting equals resistance. Anything you protest, you're resisting. So again, anger begets anger. Resistance begets resistance. So we're not going to be protesting anymore. We're going to be stepping up in higher vibrational ways, and divine feminine is going to be part of that because we're higher vibrational intuitive beings, and we're intuitively directly aligned with spirit. And that is the highest alignment we can for any situation, any experience. God sees everything before it even happens. God knows 1 billion steps ahead before we do. So why would we not trust in the direct alignment with spirit? Has nothing to do with religion. Never did, never will. Why wouldn't we? Spirit's our highest alignment, period. Source is our highest nourishment, period. We're spirit. Why would we not nourish ourselves in that way? Why would we not align that way? Because we've never been taught, because it gave the power back to the people. So all of these older systems of dogmatic existence, where we gave our power to others, we gave our power to those that controlled it, all of those will be crumbling, just as we're seeing this presidential experience crumbling. Who do we give power to? What and who are the money sitting with? What and who were the denials, were the resistances, were the not guilty pleas, when we absolutely know behind closed doors everything was guilty. We know there's the snakes and ladders in it all. It's very obvious, it's very evident. And anybody saying not guilty to you, you can sense that vibration of falseness. So again, we are bringing our own justice every time you go within and heal those wounds and heal that experience of injustice, of unfairness. So again, when you're aligning to the justice of the greater good, the systems that are barely surviving, and that light will go in and break those up, because most of our systems are barely surviving because it's all corrupt, because it's built around red tape and feeding the egos and feeding the agendas of those that are selfish and greedy. And they're not in alignment with spirit. They never have been, because they're still wounded. Most leaders right now are still wounded, not healed, have no idea what higher consciousness is. None of them are aligned with their higher selves, and none of them are in that experience of being a leader. So that's shifting and changing real quick. Make no mistake about that. That's why we're seeing all systems break, and why we're seeing people that were in great power with great abundance, now they're being impeached, indicted, because our systems are becoming higher vibration, becoming higher light value, and corruption will not stand. Can't have all of the light and have corruption still be. No. People are going to try what they've been trying with me. They're continually trying to take me down, take me out, work me, twist me, pull my energy, twist destinies, switch destinies, and all of the ridiculousness that has been done, people trying to still take from me. And the amount of spiritual warfare, the amount of spiritual dichotomy that's gone on behind the scenes is ridiculous. Spirit won't let me see it because it's so ridiculous. And God has put enough. God said enough is enough, right from the highest, the most high. Because I said there will be no more discussion, there'll be no more wars. I get to choose who I am, and I get to choose who will be on my path. I get to choose who I create with. Final. And spirit matched that. And spirit's put every single galactic group, galactic assignment, anybody that I've been connected with in any lower vibrational realm that takes and pulls energy in malevolent ways, everything has been shut down. It's been changed overnight. God said enough. The rumblings of the heavens were down just on my one story, because people were relentless, malicious, tactless to get and take from me, to see the way into my Akash and to read into my, the things that were done were ridiculous. Beyond ridiculous. That's how greed warps and poisons the spirit. Equally possible that every single person within that experience can be nourished with source and be healed overnight. But they chose not to. They chose to keep trying to steal and take from me, to twist destinies, to switch destinies, to put my destiny on somebody else that was not even vibrationally prepared. And why they're all facing karma right now, they're all being blocked, and they're all finding their own minutia of darkness and mess, because that's what they created when they were given years and years to say no and make it right. And so that's happened from the dimensional level all the way up to now it's hitting the physical level. So what it was done in the etheric realms, what was done in the spiritual realm is now hitting the physical realm. It's all one. What we've been saying from day one. So there is greater reflections that you can expect positive change for. Anything that was negative, harmful, or corrupt intention will be seen in the physical, because again, it's all energy equals physical, physical equals energies. These are energies that are needing to be balanced with a positive outcome. So again, remember, if you're on one side of it, you've got to balance it with the other. So you've got to make that positive intention from your heart. I want to balance this. I want to make it right. What action can I put forward to start alchemizing those energies? If I did a negative action, I need to take a positive action to make it right. I got to still have action. When you've done a lot of the inner work, and why there's always the process of ascension. When you've gone within and you've had your hermit mode, you've had your introspection, you've had your reflection, your object. There's many clients that have come to me and I've said, now you've got to get out there. You've got to get moving because that action is required for part of that manifestation. 5D liberation now is you putting that action in a higher 5D state because you've done the 5D, the 4D healing, you've done the 4D transmuting, and that 5D is now acting in that 5D experience where you're living in your trusting spirit into bringing you those energies that you need, to helping your energies share with the collective, helping your magnificence being shared with the collective in different and more unique ways. You have to act and behave in that 5D way because you've done the 3 and 4D work. And so there's always that stretching, that working the energies, that calling in that higher energy and working it on this template, calling in those higher energies, working it in on this template, transmuting your body, transmuting, bringing your justice to yourself through the acknowledgement, acceptance, and the allowance. Continually realigning yourself with higher vibrational light. Again, that inner justice is creating those new beliefs, the will to choose, and the intuitiveness. Again, balancing the divine masculine feminine energies. That's that divine sacred heart. That's the divine sacred child, living and acting from your excitement, the passionate expression. We said at the beginning, expression is going to be so important to bringing yourself that inner justice. How can you express yourself now to bring yourself new justice? It can be just by saying no. It can be releasing yourself from a community. It can be just releasing yourself from an old way of thinking, old way of behaving, and old way of living. So all of those are that 5D practice so that you're living yourself up to this new sense of justice and spirit matches. So in every moment, we are creating new balancing systems and mechanisms that begin to fit. So balance isn't number 2 law. How are you bringing balance to your life? Have you done so much in one way that you're now ready to stretch out and stretch beyond? And those are those new ways where you get to play in new ways. So that expression, that 5D expression is going to be really important. It's going to bring you up to that 5D level. And why you haven't seen much manifest, because you need to act in that 5-dimensional way. Spirit says, okay, you've done a lot of clearing, you've done the work, go. Get out there, be more fluid, be more active, be movable, be malleable. Be movable and malleable like spirit. That light bends. So we bend like the light. Trust how you feel. Remember, your body is a multidimensional system of interpretation, of ingathering of information, ingathering of downloads, ingathering. It's created from the activations from within, the DNA, the atom event particles, and then it's activated without. It's a system, it's a process of clearing away that density, and they're done by light activation called the atom event particles. You are the commandmentship of all activations. You're working hand in hand with spirit in this ascension. Make no mistake about it. You're not alone in it. You're not by yourself. You have teams of beings in healing. You can have yourself being placed in light ships, recalibration ships. You can learn about environments on these recalibration ships. You can be activating yourself in different ways and learning in different ways and working with different beings in these experiences. So play, expand. What beings do you want to be in contact with? How can you create and move with their ships? How can you be on different ships and in those different healings? You can bring these new energies and downloads to earth and be open to new downloads on earth and the beings that are with you. What a gorgeous day. So whatever situation was unjust, look at it from the acceptance and the acknowledgement. I acknowledge it was unjust. What part did I play? What belief did I have about myself for it to be unjust? And then you start recreating, okay, well, from now on, I'm not going to let someone take advantage of me. I'm not going to believe what everybody says. I'm going to tune in first. So again, using your multidimensional systems to bring that justice. Realign yourself, take commandmentship of how you're now bringing justice. Well, I'm not going to believe everything I'm going to be told. I'm going to make sure I'm going to be referring the source before I sign anything. I'm going to make sure I'm not going to believe those when my body is telling me something different. So trust your body, trust what you're being shown. The reasons on our planet that are so out of balance is because the inner collective has been out of balance, and why there's that one experience of the Trump trial is showing us how we've been out of balance. What were our values? Any violent act that happens on our planet is a reflection of every single soul. What is it that we need to accept? What is it that we've given power to? How have we not held ourselves in value and sacredness? How have we not held ourselves in preciousness? How have we given our value away to such superficial things that mean nothing and are not nourished by spirit? They're not aligned with the highest integrity of what we exist within and what exists within us. Those are really powerful things that shift your whole reality overnight. Make no mistake about it, when you're aligned with spirit, Shift overnight. You know that you are walking step in step with spirit. The alliance with you is everything. When your focus is on the outer, which is what we've been taught, is everything we've been taught right from grade one. All of your focus is placed on outer. How you perform, how you adjust, how you create, how you manifest, how you look to see yourself as normal and not normal, how we're judged, how we're defined, how we're placed in boxes. Everything has been that outer focus. We have been taught the exact opposite of what we should be doing. Everything is inner. You are not your environment, you're the light within it. As Lord Sananda showed me. You're not to be your environment. You're to be the light within it and change it and alchemize it. That is why we are here. We are here to look at our world as one moment reflection and change it. We are the light within it, change. We are the ones that offer change. We are the ones that offer light. We are the ones that offer codes. So be it. Do not conform to less than or lower than. Never surrender your story. Never surrender your story to magnificence. That's your story. So live it. Be it. Doesn't matter what others say. Let them live their story and you live yours. That's how all can coexist as peace. And never surrender to another story because they want you to feel less than. They want you to be on their traumatizing story because it makes them feel better. You know, whatever stories they give you of how dare you leave me, how dare you betray me, and how you dare you this and that. Well, you have your right not to be in less than. You have your right to look after your body. You have your right to bring light for your children and your futures. You have your right to your soul story, period. You're not responsible for anybody. Everybody is responsible for their own life, for their own creation, for their own choices. That's why you bring balance, is redirecting your own choice. Choose wisely. When you love yourself, you choose wisely. When you love yourself, you listen to your body. When you love yourself, you choose truth. And you stand by it, no matter what. I will stand by my truth. I'm a part of the divine feminine. I am a part of the voice of the children, of those being trafficked, those who've been abused, and I'm not going to stand down. I won't. I won't stand down. I'm meant to create great change, and I will. And I am. Because I understand balance now. I understand how to bring myself balance, and I'm okay. And I want to put myself out there. I've been on my own and single for about 13 years. And so I'm ready to get out there. I'm ready to meet new vibrational friends, new vibrational soulmates that are also healed. I want to be with those that are creating the collective and the highest of integrity and benevolence, and spirit is seeking those soulmates. The past is closed, the past is done. There will be no return of anybody from the past. The vibrations are completely misaligned, not aligned. There's a lot of healing that everybody has to do. I don't need any apologies. I don't need anybody to make it right. And if there are people that want to clear their karma and to make their life better and make their life more smooth, talk to the lawyers and you all know that. Nothing from the past will return. We're on completely different dimensions, completely different dynamic planetary ascensions. It's completely different. Nobody from the past will be allowed. There will be celestial, ancestral, vibrational, godly blocks. So if you want to make it right, you know my lawyer. Everybody will be blocked because you've been given the opportunities and you've absolutely done nothing but harm. Continue the spell work, continue the degradation, to continue the disrespect, continue taking vibrationally and messing and scheming and gaming. You've been given years and years of opportunities and timelines of opportunities, the same stories from different timelines, different sects, different planets, different beings, and different consciousness trying to take from me. So God has put a stop. Everything has been, no, the gates are closed a long time ago. You're just not getting it in the physical now. It's starting to make sense because you're now seeing your blocks. And so you don't need your apologies. I've already forgiven you all. And so again, why the corruption and why the falseness and the corrupt leaders and any community businesses, any systems will now be breaking. And we're meant to celebrate that. We're meant to really celebrate that. Because again, that's showing us that the energy is different. The energy is different. It's like totally different energy. And so that's it, dear little ones. We're talking about the vibrational ability that you give yourself for justice, your vibrational justice. What does that mean for you? You create that through acknowledgement, acceptance, and allowance. And that's with any healing system. I'll show you this. I'm not going to say it. Might be too sunny. That's our light language for the day. Anybody wants to purchase these, they're about $22 US, and they're weekly codes, weekly downloads from the different beings and the different celestials that come with me, that come with you. Again, these are for the collective. So any information that they're giving me to download into channel. I'm just going to do a little short channel and do some light language if you so desire. Beautiful ocean out there. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Donations are very much welcome. I'm so appreciative for anybody that donates and offers me the ability to travel and to speak. What Starbucks will I be at next? Or coffee shop? I absolutely love coffee. It's one of my soothing agents of the day. I love to wake up and sit with God and sit with my teams and the celestials and Gaia. I love Gaia so much. I love you, Gaia. I love you, Gaia. I love you, Gaia. Had an amazing experience yesterday with the gnomes and the fairies. That was so great. Thank you, gnomes. So all of my beings from the different galaxies and the different planets are coming forward. So I'm just going to set in just alignment right now. But everybody, take a deep breath. Everybody, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath with the holy light and nourish yourself with source. Just intend it. I nourish myself with source. So anytime you try to reach out for anything, whether you're healing from an addiction, you're healing from a trauma, you can always recreate a higher alignment and heal yourself with the intention to nourish yourself with source. Everyone has this access, everyone. We all have access to source, infinite source, each and every person, right? Each and every person is meant to be unique. Never copy anybody, never mimic anybody, just be unique. You have infinite access to source, and your source is uniquely needed and required on this planet. So just breathe in and give yourself the allowance to nourish yourself with source. As you breathe in, affirm, I nourish myself with source. I am light, I am light, I am light. And just release. Breathe in and affirm, nourish yourself with source. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, nourish yourself with source. I nourish myself with source, and you're just maintain that beautiful alignment of light that runs along your spine. And that's also helping you balance your chakras, align your chakras, and feed that light through your chakras in a balanced way. So when you're using these new higher vibration systems of rebalancing and justice, you're bringing that nourishment and strength through all of your chakra systems, through all of your multidimensional systems, which again, we've never been taught. These things should be taught in school. Has nothing to do with religion. It's who we are as multidimensional beings and nourishing ourselves with source, that we don't have to look to outer, we don't have to feed ourselves in outer, we don't have to surrender ourselves to anything outer. We have that inner strength, that inner alignment of ourselves. And breath is the igniter. That's why Masters of always says, spirit is the only quickener. And how spirit is source. Source is spirit. Everything is spirit. And when you're nourishing yourself in that, that's when you start stopping aging, for instance, or you release those illnesses and diseases because you're nourishing yourself with higher vibrational codes and light. And there's nothing higher. And so we're just going to do a beautiful, thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm calling upon the beings of the highest holy light. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Calling in the beings of the highest holy light. Thank you. Calling in the beings of the highest holy light. Yes, they're coming from a directive from the Galactic Federation. Thank you. Yes, there's many beings that you are with right now, and there's many beings that are in your collective that are seeking new ways to express and explore. We see you each as individual little light ships, learning to explore who you are as the body of light that you are, and communicating and interpreting things in different ways, just as we do in our higher vibrational realms. As we seek to move about different dimensions in different ways, we must also have the protections of our ships, of their light ships. So they're showing me different ways that they protect their light ships when they're going into lower vibrational atmospheres. And why, when we see a light ship of our earthly vibration, it always looks as if they're moving at the speed of sound and the speed of light, if you will, because they don't move from A to B and A to Z linearly. They don't have that linear component. It's now. It's a vibration. It's now. That's how they're coded. And so we're learning how to do that. When you can learn to release a trauma, now you're different. And so those are just our behaviors and our knowing that I can release now. Now is different. Now is new. And that's that whole reality shift. So you have that potential. And it's just a matter of your vibration. You have to align to it first. But they, and so there's a clearing there. Thank you. And because they're showing me how they protect their ships when they go into lower vibrational dimensions and our atmosphere, because our atmosphere is a lot lower than what they're used to. So they do have to protect their bodies in certain ways. And same with empaths, conduits, and healers and readers, you're going to have to learn how to train to protect your bodies, to know what information you're giving, to know when to say no to a client when they're only wanting information about other people. All of those energies are meant to be sent back, go and do the healing. So those people that constantly ask for readings about other people, what other people are going to be tapping into, what other people are going to be getting blessed with, so that those corrupt people can go and start using those people that are going to be blessed. They start using their timelines. They start using their soul blueprints. That's why people ask about other people so much, because they want to use that energy. They want to use that blessing. So that's when readers and intuitives are going to have to say, no, you haven't done the healing. You're not doing the healing. It's not about anybody else but you. You get anybody that's meant to be before you when you do your healing. And that's the bottom line. And so many people are now awakening to what is really being with the soulmate. What is that really about? Well, go within and heal yourself first. It's not about anybody else. So anybody, again, any reader, any spellcaster, any person that's doing anything to interfere with anybody else's path, anybody is giving information on anybody else, they will be receiving their equal justice and karma, because the laws are out there and everybody knows enough is enough. And Spirit's been given that 3 months, and again, that time is ticking. So those readers, intuitive, anybody that's giving information on anybody else that's not the client, those have to be done by permission. You can't give information on anybody else, and those that are doing so are crossing the boundaries of spiritual laws, of universal laws, and the number one law is non-interference. And they will be equal karma. So everybody's gonna have to step up and level up, because we're now 5D, and you're not gonna get away with corrupting and taking from people that have earned it. So those are the equal balancing laws. And when you're standing in your own justice, when you're standing in, no, I deserve everything I've worked for. I've done this for eons. It's about time that I receive. I'm a great healer. I'm a great teacher. I'm a great alchemist. I'm a great shaman. I know who I am. I am the star of the star. I know who I am. I am Joanna. I'm a messenger of God. I am a chosen one of the Holy Spirit. And I get to say that now because I've earned it. And Spirit will lift me. And Spirit will show everybody else. Because there's been that degradation and arrogance. How dare a divine feminine? How dare a divine feminine be a leader? How dare a divine feminine know things? How dare a divine feminine not submit to a male? No, I will not submit. No, I walk with God, period. Everybody's equal. That's my message. And so too is our lightship. Our bodies are our lightship. And we can move about space. We can protect our bodies in lower vibrational energies. We can protect our bodies so that we're not harmed. And we can move about space in that way, infinite experiences. And our bodies are that. It's a micro macro. It's an analogy. It is the same thing, because we're practicing and we're maintaining and we're training ourselves to be light. And there's many things that we can do to be of that, to travel as that. And so it's an alchemic experience. So there's a group of beings right now. ASILEAMS. Ascensions. From the Pleiadian Collective. We are vibrational water beings, and we assist in the presentation of information between water and land on our planet. There are many of us that specialize in this. So I'm just seeing this beautiful water fairy. She's not really in human form. She's just an essence of energy that I see, and she's lifting the collective from the water, showing me the various communications that go on in the threading of harmonic songs between the waters and the earth that they live on. The earth, we call it the planet, the matter form of energy on their planet. Thank you, Holy Spirit. There's about 8 people in that, 8 beings, if you will, of that consciousness. And they do have also bodies. So they're showing me that they do share forms on that planet in body forms, so that they can commune as one. So they share a consciousness within the water consciousness and also body forms, so that they can communicate and also create that symbiosis between the land and the water and their bodies. Thank you. So they're showing me that there's many of you there in the collective, in the now and future now moments that are listening, that are also part of that, where you feel very at home in the water. And you also have your human physical body, and you have energies that you're bringing forward and activating when your divine timing is right, when you've done enough clearing of the strangeness or uniqueness, if you will, of having multidimensional knowings of water and land, and knowing that and being that, because there's many fears that you have of bringing those uniquenesses forward, and how you are meant to walk upon your planet as the all-being, as the all-knowing. So when those wounds are healed and you can be yourself and expressing yourself in the 100% that you are, without fear of anybody looking at you weird or controversy, who cares what other people think? I'm going to be who I am because I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Then you get to have those consciousness connections between the Pleiades of those beings that you're with. So she's showing me that there's those of you listening now, future now moments, that are part of that collective Pleiades. And you have physical bodies and water bodies, so that you can create that symbiosis of the land and the water and what is physical, how that interprets and how it communicates to in and of all of itself. And so they're showing me that I am a part of that collective of the multidimensional water form, fire form, earth form. And so there's many forms that we all come with. That is alchemy, understanding how information passes, interprets, how information is understood, how we can create better healing systems, because again, the all is one and the one is the all. There is no difference between us and the trees. There's no difference. How we treat animals is how we think and treat ourselves. That wildlife is equally as important, as precious. They teach us lessons. They have sacred wisdoms. They have sacred stories. They're here for sacred experiences. As we create that symbiosis and balance and health within ourselves, then that wildlife will be healthy. So too will our planet. So too will everything that we are. So it's thanks a lot of clearing there. So too will our bodies, because our bodies are a representation of all animals, of all life, all matter form. It's all matter form. So it's no different. It's all one. And that's what the Jesus taught, which is on this Easter weekend. Again, it's not about religion. It's about our ability to move through time and experiences and sacredness and acceptance and release of any limitations that we're separate from anybody, and waiting for anybody to come and save us. We are the all being in their spirit. I'm wearing my little carrots. I'm wearing a different lipstick. So thank you for that, the beautiful consciousness being. Thank you. Calling in any other energies that would like to speak. The Galactic Federation came in before. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So anything about the Galactic Federation? Many of you have been seeing greater lightship activity on your planet, and we offer light and we remind you activations in those lightship experiences. You call it UFOs, but we absolutely know, and you know within your soul that it's not unidentified. You absolutely know that there are versions of you and aspects of you looking at you as you're looking at it. There are aspects of you and your higher vibrational and your other lineages that are reminding you of who you are. And those are created within collective DNA activation. So your collective has a DNA frequency, and as each and every one of you align your own DNA, and the allness within your own DNA, the collective DNA also activates, which then calls in other beings and other consciousnesses from other realms. And thus, therefore, you will see different aspects of light ships in ways that you've never seen them before. So there will be a greater awakening of the light ships and what they look like. Because your consciousness is aligning to such. You're changing your reality moment for moment for moment, and how excited you are in the expression of who you are to move about in expecting lightship experiences, expecting those visions of light ships. So it's exciting. So they're just showing me different light ships and what they look like. But our consciousness collective DNA, our collective DNA, again, everything's micro macro. Everybody has a different unique DNA. Our collective has a DNA. Our planet has a DNA, and each a blueprint. A DNA is your blueprint, if you will, of your allness, of your capacity, your infinite ability, your infinite ability, your eternal ability with spirit, with source, nourished with source, spirit by source. As the collective nourishes itself with source, we're going to be nourished in different ways with source, through lightship engagement, through our interactivity with Gaia. Those are the nourishments. Those are the majesties, those are the miracles. So they come in infinite ways. That's how source wants to surprise you and delight you. And that's why those that are ready to put themselves out there for the collective healing and activations, those of us will be. So excited. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm going to end this off now. But I wanted to pull one card before we go. I do have a card. But thank you to the beautiful Starbucks staff here. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for allowing me to be here. The beautiful people. They always know my name. Everybody knows your name. That's the only line I know. You're gonna be where you can be. Troubles are all the same. You're gonna be where everybody knows your name. Everybody knows my name. Ooh, I love that. That's the same one we had last time. Spirals of manifestation. So it's a huge manifestation time right now. So know that. We're spiraling in new energy. We're spiraling in new co-creations. And all of the systems they're showing me, just want to quick download. I'll get that one in. Hair's a little bit, the hair wants to be involved. My hair is interactive. 5D doing. Sorry, they're showing me her inner systems here are changing. She's bringing balance by knowing that she's being nourished by source and all the different systems that she can create balance with. The outer system, that be Gaia. That maybe this is an analogy of Gaia. This is an analogy of the ancestors. This is an analogy of other lifetimes, of other planets, of other forms that she's bringing into this harmony of balance. She doesn't need it from anybody else. She is doing that inner system balance. If her heart is in balance, if her chakras are in balance, she gets to bring that balance to herself because she's nourishing herself with source. And source will always know what she needs to be balanced. That's why anything you do outside of you will never bring you what source does. The inner alignment with source is everything. Being nourished by source. Intend every breath you take, I am nourished by source. That's when you start to feel your body fill with light. When you breathe and feel your body hum and vibrate, that's when you know you're being nourished by light. And conduits, we can feel that because that's the emitted that we have of the pure light, the pure God, the pure Jesus. That's what Jesus emitted. There's alchemic things I can say, but I won't. Those of you that want to have sessions with me, you can have sessions with me and pay for them. But the essence of spirit, the quickening of spirit is a real thing. You can feel it. It's felt in your body. You can't have spirit run through your body without feeling it. I feel it. I-T, capital I, capital T, it, God. I feel it. That's miracles, that's healing. That's where you can stop aging because you're healing and you're feeling in spirit. You are breathing spirit. And it can't be done if you're wishing harm to another. That's not the same. Vibrations are off. Vibrations are not. You don't love yourself. You can't offer that to another. So again, why you won't have a soulmate with you if you're in self-hate. You got to do the work. It's all vibrational. It's all vibrational. So dear light ones, anybody that would like a little code, a code man, a code, a code baby, a code, connect with me, man. Connect with me for a code. A code maker, code breaker. I do that. I break codes. Whatever collective that you're connected with, I'm going to create a code for you. And it'll be for a week. And you'll just look at that code. You play with the code. You dance with the code. You rewrite the code. That code can be for anything that you intend it. So put an intention with your money and send it off. And I will give you a code. And then I will send it to your email. And you can download it and you can put it in frame. You can work with it, put it under your water and have that code work with you. And it's direct source. When I'm doing those codes and I'm actually writing them and drawing them, I actually do light language and I'm singing as well. Just so you know. Sometimes I stop and I do breath. Sometimes I stop and I do light language. Do light language. So sometimes when I'm doing those codes, I'll stop and I'll do light language, whatever's coming in, because it helps break up whatever's in the field. So they're showing me now that they wanted me to mention this. When I'm doing those codes for you, it is a multidimensional experience as if I'm right there and I'm helping you release whatever in your field and I'm adding codes. So just know that it's a multidimensional healing and activation. That's what I do when I do it. So this room is being offered new codes of whatever that I choose to, because I'm working with different fields and sources everywhere. It is everywhere. It's everywhere. That's God. It's not a text. It's not a religion. God is everything. We can still have religions and be it of goodwill and benevolence and fairness and equality to all. Religions are absolutely very acceptable. I'm giving you my experience. I'm giving you my perspective. When you're 5D, all is all spirit. And offer it in whatever you want. It's not saying that religion is bad and wrong. It's not. It's all very necessary. It's all very good. But level up in your religion. Level up so that all are equal. Level up so that all are given equal opportunity. Level up so that they're not controlling and greedy. Level up so that you're not taking the creativity out of it. Level up so that you're not having someone do something to be accepted, to be acknowledged, to be in your group. So that's all falling by the wayside because that's still separation. If you have to give sacrifice, if you have to give judgment, if you have to give less than or greater than, if you're taking creativity out of it, then you're not aligned with the highest self. And why so many that have gone through such dogmatic brainwashing have to reinvent themselves. They have no idea who they are because they've been shown and told who they are. They've been brainwashed to have to do certain practices to know who they are. No, that's not spirit. Spirit wants you to be uniquely creative in every single way. It's not saying anything wrong or judgmental. That's just a fact of energy. That's a fact of who you are as a creative spirit. We've been taught backwards the entire time. So now it's time to reclaim a sense of self. It's time to reclaim that, yeah, everything does matter. Everything matters. And anybody that tells you different, discern and walk away. Let them have that story, but you can write a different story. You're creating a new creational story for 5 years. Who are you? I believe in you. I honor you. I respect you as the all that is source. So dear light ones, we love you so very much. My email is below. Anybody that wants to give a donation, vocational sessions, private readings are also available. Please give the information below. If I am guided that I'm not to give the vibrational session, for any reasons that are not of pure intention, then I'll send the money back. So that's just how I work. Anybody that comes to me, I will not give a session. For anybody that's wanting information about another person, anybody that's wanting information about anything that is malevolent, and spirit will know right away. I will know right away and I'll send the money back. I don't work like that. I'm here for vibrational healing, for expansion to the 5th dimensional levels, 5th dimensional healers, leaders, teachers, and co-creators of 5th dimensional systems that are in alignment with benevolent evolutionary systems. I work with Galactic federations and the councils of life. And so that's who I work with. I work directly in alignment with God, with spirit, and I want those that are on board, a higher vibrational collective, higher vibrational audience, and those that are truly excited about co-creating with Earth, with Gaia, in the most highest vibrational ways. And so I'm empowering all leaders and readers and intuitives to also be in alignment of expanding your gifts and your skills. And also, who are you in essence of what your highest path is, and knowing of your transactionary experience in every moment that you're with somebody, and also aligning yourself with the highest universal laws for benevolence and the greater good. And just allow everybody their own time and their own respect and their own healing process. It's not wrong. It's just that everybody is meant to step up now. And so we've been given these messages for a while. So now we're actually in it. We're in the motion of it becoming 5D. So we're so excited. Yay! So stay tuned for our next session, dear light ones. We love you so very much. Bye. We love you. Rainbow.